So, um, hmm, yeah, after my kind of, not kind of, after my life saving, life changing surgery in the middle of October, I felt another shift in my life. I've had a, I've had a few. I won't go into my history right now, but I will say that as a consequence of what I and my partner called the event, which was before, during, after my surgery, I became really clear I needed to do quite some things differently, internally um, and externally. And one of the things that has been banging around in my life for quite some years has been the idea of kind of starting a video blog and not knowing exactly what that form would look like. The I don't know what the form should look like kind of kept me paralyzed. And from time to time, I would throw out a video on YouTube and usually got some good feedback. But basically, I felt I felt good about doing it, and I also felt good when I would go back and listen to it. Um, this will sound weird, but I think my authenticity and my honesty and my openness and my sharing my experience of me and my life, um, it touches me to hear that and to experience that even years later when I might look back at the video. Anyway, so here goes. And I don't know what this looks like, whether it comes out two, three, four times a week, twice a week. But anyway, I decided to start today because today was my first day back swimming since my surgery. Um, I had not been feeling well for some time, some weeks before this procedure, the event, and had gotten some treatment with antibiotics. Had started to feel a little better. So my last swim was August 31st, and with a great friend of mine, Rico, I swam 3.2 something kilometers in a lake, and it was pretty cold, but I felt not too bad. As I say, I had been treated with antibiotics some weeks before. No, some days before. I'm not going to go back and edit this thing. So what I do is what you get. Um, so anyway, not feeling well, antibiotics, feeling a little bit better, go for a swim, August 31st, day before my birthday, um, belly button birthday, September 1st. And so, yeah, I was feeling a bit better, but then I had that really long swim in the cold. And then the next day I did an 8K run, and I kind of felt like I burned myself out again, which I do from time to time by overtraining. And then I was feeling like worse and worse and worse. And I live in Bern. My partner's Katja lives here in Erlangen, Germany. So I came up here for a visit, and this is where I created this event. But anyway, um, I went for my first swim today. I went down to the Hallenbad here and Erlangen, and it's a 50 meter. And it's like, I don't know if I can swim or not. I don't know. I, I don't know. But I suited up like I was going to swim, and I jumped in the water. And as I was kind of floating down to the bottom, I thought, I don't know. I don't know what it looks like when I come up. I'm still in a lot of pain physically. I'm feeling really kind of delicate and insecure in some ways. I'm feeling a lot of inner power. I'm feeling a lot of, yeah, security, balance, openness. But this event really rocked me, and in a good way. Because when I get rocked, usually I can see the purposefulness in it, and maybe I don't understand. No, not maybe. I don't understand the whys. I don't have to anymore, but I do know when something rocks my world, either little shakes or big shakes, they're for a good reason. And as this for me was a big shake. Um, yeah, I wasn't sure. I had a doctor when I was in the hospital do a very special blood test, and she told me, as a consequence of this blood test, I would need to spend the rest of my life on oxygen. And I had to deal with that bit of information for a couple of days, imagining myself dragging around this bottle or carrying around a bottle of oxygen for the rest of my life. And that was never part of my plan. But yeah, I did find some level of acceptance, and I knew I'd have to do my life as I have most of the last 38 years of sobriety, one day at a time. And this was just a new challenge I would have to find my way through. But I sure had to let go of the idea of swimming and running and biking and all these things that were a part of my lifestyle. And came to find out a couple of days later that the woman did not know I had an existing lung disease called COPD. And because COPD had for the last 20 plus years been gradually destroying my smoking and other chemicals had gradually been destroying my lungs, then I had adapted to these lower oxygen levels as a COPD patient, and she didn't calculate that into her test. And so when my blood oxygen went down, then she said, "Oh my God, you know." So if I was normal, then that normal person would be on oxygen, at least so they say. But with a guy who's COPD usually has his blood oxygen between 85 and 92%. And most people have 98, 97 to 100. So I got this reprieve. Anyway, I definitely needed to go through this process of accepting what I heard. I needed to go through the process of accepting that yeah, I had a lifestyle change coming again. So for me to jump in the water today was a really big deal in so many ways. And so jump in the water, go to the bottom, come to the top, didn't die, fit up my goggles, and I started to swim. I had wanted to take my fins with me today, my little training fins, to kind of make my first swim a little bit easier, but sure, I forgot them. Anyway, so yeah. I swam this 50 meters, and it was really touching. And I touched the wall, turned around and came back, did 100 meters. That's enough for now. Took a break, caught my breath. Breathing is difficult. By the way, this surgery, I had a very aggressive form of pneumonia, and they had to do a very aggressive surgery. They opened my side up about that much. Can you see that much? And they had to go in there and do a very invasive surgery to recover my lung from this pneumonia virus. It had filled my left lung up, I don't know, 60, 70%. The x-ray was wild. It's like, whoa, how could that happen to me? Because prior to that, as I say, 3.2 kilometer swim, 8 kilometer run, not feeling so good, but didn't know I was near death. Yeah, I mean, these guys said, without this procedure at this time, and there were other procedures available, but they chose the most radical, and according to my specialist in Switzerland, that's exactly the one I needed, and I needed it immediately. So I'm really grateful for these doctors here in Erlangen. what they did and how they did it. I knew in my lifestyle for many years because I lived life rather intensely. I did. I started training after spinal surgery. Oh, I'm giving you my history. I do that another time. Yeah, I'll give you this part. I had a spinal fusion in 2011, and an artificial disc put in about a year later. And from there, I got diagnosed with my lung disease, and I was overweight and unfit. And I decided I've got to do something about all of these things. And then I started very early in 2013, and I guess very late in 2012. Anyway, began to do some training, and this is where I'll leave a big hole, and I'll fill it in future postings. But after 2018, I completed a half Ironman. And so I'm a worker, and I'm tenacious, and I am persistent, and so but I also did the same thing 38 years ago in 1985 to save my life from alcoholism and drug addiction. So more of that story is to come, but I start this today because of my profound gratitude that I have from the beginning. I remember being in that surgery, not in the room, but I remember being in my body, and they could not use medications because the medications, at least what they say, would block the messages from my brain to my lungs, and they needed to keep my lungs going. So I was doing this without any pain meds. They put me in narcosis. They put me to sleep for the procedure, but there were no pain meds, and I was in a lot of pain. And I remember that, and I remember that it reminded me of these very, very difficult times I've had in my life that I knew were for me. I knew it wasn't for me in a negative way to knock me down or to punish me. They were there to teach me, and they were there to support me and guide me and did I say educate? Anyway, but it has continued to deepen my life experiences every time I have a small, as they say, or big, let's say, intervention, awakening, opportunity, teacher, classroom, whatever. The list goes on and on and on. So this is where it starts. I didn't know 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Okay, what's in the middle? No. I see the time here now is 13:21. And so I'm going to make this thing in something like 15 minutes. And I guess I post this thing on YouTube. And maybe I made one when I was in the hospital. Maybe I post that one also. Anyway, thank you for your time. If you have any questions or comments, then find a way to get them to me. If you don't know how to get to me, then you will. I just wish you an amazing day, and I just share with you the foundation of my life is gratitude. Gratitude is not a feeling for me. Gratitude is the consciousness. It's a consciousness of acceptance. It's a consciousness of everything is here for me, and to guide me and to teach me and to heal me and to awaken me. And so I just share my motto, which is living in gratitude. And since the event, it's now embracing the mystery. Pow.